Alright, everybody. Welcome to No Room for Wallflower. It has been a little bit of a campaign to get here from Cressidium to our Den 3. If you would, for the benefit of those who may be unfamiliar with your career, introduce yourself once more.
I am Casino Scorchstone. I pilot my trusty mech, Silver Bee. I am known as Tombstone. My trusty mech is the Orcus, with a focus on getting in there and pushing people around, as well as keeping my allies a little bit safer by providing soft cover to everybody around me. Also, my mechs blow up almost every couple fights.
Yeah, I'm Filberto Strobe, codenamed Gripper, and I'm piloting a Blackbeard. My main role in the team is to grapple an enemy and hold them down while taking enemy fire.
My name is Chekhov Sigoria, and he has a bit of an accent problem, so at times I'll be jumping accents randomly. Don't mind that. And I am the bombardment specialist. I sit back and I start launching rockets and missiles at everything within range, which is usually a lot. And he's very into explosives.
I am John Lee Nance, codename Puck. I'm a bit of a late addition to the team as I defected from the Best in Sovereignty in the last campaign, and I'm now part of the Union. I pilot the Green Knight, which is essentially a tank with a cyber warfare suite, and my specialty is breaking into other mechs' software and making them much harder to pilot.
Indeed. There was a great deal of fighting which occurred on the planet Cressidium as a war was fought for effectively its independence and ability to join Union. Due to classified circumstances, the Lancers in charge of delivering this planet from a quite perilous doom have been retasked to provide support to a small, growing colony. About, I think, 5 or so years away from Cressidium. It's a long drive to get there. But there is a important mission, as they were assigned to the Union Auxiliary 11th Team to do so. We're joining you now, here as you're making this final leg, having transferred from station to station. The logo Blink Gate now well behind you, as the thrum of the shuttle continues. This cramped thing offering very little in forms of comfort as it rumbles. Your mechs, unfortunately, could not fit inside this shuttle, and so you'll have to print them on ground. You're not quite sure what is awaiting you down there. However, you've finally gotten in range now that you can see the planet in question. Ardena 3. Upon the Atlas line, far distant from where you formerly were. A blue world, sometimes called a garden world, where down upon its surface you are to meet with Landmark Colonial, a Smith Shimano Corporation specialty service, and provide defense for a colony under trouble. The pilot of this shuttle has not been the chattiest. The only thing that you've heard recently from them, in fact, is
30 minutes to drop.
And that's about all you've heard from them. The cabin lights flicker as they switch from a cream yellow to a harsh red. The deck rumbles beneath your feet.
120,000.
And for the not first time, you again hear the howl of wind shear and the burn of an atmosphere as the outer shuttle reaches the thick soup, preventing space from rushing in. Through condensation-streaked portholes, the world below becomes an emerald smear, scarred by ragged tears of black and brown, patches of gray cloud cover speaking to months-long rainstorms which plague the surface. The pilot comes back on.
Leave your helms on for now. Cabin's not pressurized. You're going through a hell of a lot of shock. Don't want to bang your head on something before he gets you to the ground.
The radio clips off, and the howling engines settle to a level cruising roar. Below, somewhere below, the mildewed halls of ancient hives lie dormant, waiting, empty. You're currently in a small, cramped locale with 2 rows of fold-down crash seats facing each other across a wide cargo bay stocked with bundled supplies. You're currently also plugged into the dropship's onboard oxygen via an umbilical cord, and it is not comfortable. You could have brought as much as a duffel loaded with whatever gear and equipment you could cram into it. I presume, however, that you might have brought your personal hard and soft suits. Did you?
Yes.
I'm wearing mine.
Yeah, I have my self-undersuit that I normally wear, and then my actual hard suit that I wear.
I only have a hard suit. I believe I just have that whatever the hard suit comes in that's underneath it normally. If not, probably just regular street clothes.
I have my standard stealth hard suit on, which is pretty reminiscent of a lighter weight hard suit, just with a bit more wires and meth overthrown on it, along with the NHP caskets I always carry around and keep plugged in.
Nice. Are any of you wearing a particular set of colors?
I'm wearing my organizational colors. Gray and green.
I'm wearing a stock standard ISPN kind of branded jumpsuit, probably.
The shuttle engines begin to wind down as you feel the cabin tilt some. The terrain below begins rushing in. You spy for the first time your landing site, a collection of small, largely gray prefab buildings bound across one side of a riverfront. There's a small set of landing pads, 3 of which are currently roped off and cracked. And you're headed for the last, whose lights are currently flashing red. With a rumble, the auxiliaries kick in as your ship comes to a steady stop over top where you're intending to land. And with a quick recorrection, rain falling upon the top of your shuttle, making impact upon the surface of Denver. Heat, shimmer air, fogs the canopies outside, and the cabin repressurizes.
Glad to see yourselves out. We're bound for a supply shop from here.
All right then.
Don't suppose we know how far out that is.
You didn't see one on the way in, so it's not immediate at the very least.
Yeah.
Well, seems like we have to hoof it. Guys, 5 years of travel, and this is the best we get. And
So,
unstrap myself and basically head out at this point.
Yeah, I'll follow suit. I'll unstrap myself from the carrier, remove the umbilical cord, check my leg before I get out of the seat, and then head out following Casino.
Chekhov does the same. He umbilicals himself, picks up the gear that he brought along, and follows Casino out. He'll probably add, well, at least we know where we're going.
Yep, somewhat.
you have a map?
You don't. One was not provided. Everything was supposed to be given to you on site by a liaison from the company.
And what do we see as we come out of the shuttle?
White wrapped towers of apartment blocks, built but not occupied. Low gray of first generation habitats crowding at their feet. And streetlights providing steady beacons which illuminate the colony's borders, not far from where you are. Beyond them, the panorama disappearing into a solid green of dense temperate rainforest and the gray of low clouds and fog obscuring the rest of the valley you've settled into. A small group is approaching, weapons slung, the hoods of their dark ponchos held against the downdraft. You can see colonial militia emblazoned on the right side of their attire. There's 10 of them, arranged in a ragged line, crouched low as they scan the waving grass and tree line beyond.
You the pilots?
Shouts one of them, their leader judging by their kit, a thin armature exoskeleton powered by a blocky pack from which a tall spray of antennae emerge. She carries a long anti-armor rifle held with the assistance of a mechanized tertiary arm.
Should be, unless you were expecting a different set.
She makes quick hand gestures to her left and right, each two-fingered and pointing rapidly in those directions. The others will switch their attention to looking in those directions as they quickly make their way up holding the hood of their cloak against the rain. Brava Hadura! Commander of the militia here. Glad you're finally arrived. Listen, we shouldn't be outside the walls too long. There's a sniper in the area.
Just like old times. Lead the way.
She gestures you over to a tall patch of grass in the mud.
So it's just like Cressidium.
Somehow it's still prettier.
Yeah, this place is definitely one for the picture books. And then I'll kind of get lower, crouch down, and start moving towards the grass and mud.
Chekhov follows suit. It's, squats down to make sure the tall grass actually matters and starts to move.
Yeah. Could I take a glance around the surroundings? See for any potential sniping spots, if they are worried about one.
Yeah. Give me a skill check.
Spot check.
Definitely applies here. You give the area a good look. Though you don't see a sniper in particular. There is a tall cliff ridge on the far side of the valley, about 7 miles off from your current position, which would give a pretty good shot down the center of the colony, and would leave you currently exposed.
Then I'll stay wary of that direction.
I'm not gonna get deep in the mud, but I'm gonna turn on my stealth hard suit instead.
Nice. You'll fade into the greenery with a blur of generalized color, which then settles into a kind of a somewhat slightly desaturated haze. It's very hard to see you, even when you're right next to you.
Chekhov would actually ask the person leading us back, so these snipers, how bad are they? How often are you running into problems with the snipers?
She'll look at you as she makes a quick circling motion with her finger at the pilot as the engines will kick and the shovel starts lifting. It's often enough to be a real problem. I hope that you're here to take care of that.
We are here to help. Our mission briefing had a couple of objectives, and helping the colony was one of them.
Hang on one second. Let me make sure that I get you all called in. She leans into a small comm unit bound to her right shoulder. Bravo Hadura to patients. This is Command. Go in. We've got the pilots here and are inbound. She looks back with a apologetic smile. Sorry, we've got some perimeter defenses set up and we don't have you keyed to the IFS.
Fair enough.
This really is just like Cressidium.
Yeah, it's like when we first approached the, I forget the name of it, but we were lit up with all sorts of targeting.
Let's hope we don't get shot down again.
Oh, we're shot down? She says she gets her soldiers closer in.
Yeah, so, me, Gilberto, and Chekhov here, we're on our way to save a president from a kidnapping. And as we go to land, what's the first thing that happens? We get shot at. Our transport gets shot out of the sky, and down we fell. Faster and faster till we crashed. had to fend off like 3 or 4 waves of enemy mechs before we were able to break free, and go and complete our mission objective. And then after that, we met our lovely friend Puck here, and basically took on a whole army ourselves and won.
Well, you've been through a lot then. That's fantastic. I'm not complaining. I wasn't sure who they'd be sending. You just kept asking and then kept getting non-responses from SSC.
Well, hopefully we're worth the time they sent. Took us 5 whole years to get here.
5 years? Where'd they send you from?
Cressidium.
She searches her memory for a moment and... Oh!
Yes.
Oh yeah, that was quite a thing.
Yeah, that was us. The 4 of us. Good times.
You
I
really
guess
think your
they
problem's that
decided-
bad?
As Cressidiums? No, we're not staring down missiles or ships in orbit or anything of that sort. We've got bandits and bugs, we think. Probably, she says, somewhat uncertainly.
Bandits and bugs.
Why did you mention property?
Sorry, property?
He said probably. He takes a little to get used to too.
Sorry
in the
about
head.
It's okay.
So many
You're,
explosives around me, my accent slips sometimes.
She laughs as she nods. Y'all are currently splashing through the culverts which run on either side of the muddy road which leads to town. She says, well, why don't I get you a little bit up to speed? She gestures towards the town. Not that this is the best place to be doing it. I'm sure that they're going to get you properly briefed once you're in there. But, you know, we've got a little bit of a trek anyway.
Sounds good.
I was about to say taking silence permission, but that works too. She says Evergreen was supposed to be a council settlement. It's a workers' city, collectively owned and organized around responsible limited harvest and export of organic materials. The emphasis was on solidarity and mutual aid, and we've got great people here. But I've lost a lot of people. This community has gone through a lot of pain, and I've been enhanced in my job responsibilities 3 times since my deployment here. They're not just my neighbors, you know. I treat everyone here as my friends, my family. Barber, guy who ran the corner bakery, cousin, the old woman who used to sell tea before she was called up. None of them are career soldiers, my men. We've had to learn fast and hard. Some of mine have started using some enhancing materials lately too, to suppress their fear.
Stems.
Meant for short-term use, but the raids have started to make everyone a little bit reliant. I haven't yet. I need to keep a clear head, but it's been hard.
Sounds like we showed up just in time. We'll make sure that your ragtag band, so to speak, gets a little bit more training, help you out. We have some experts on multiple topics here. Everything from hacking, I look towards Puck. Blowing stuff up, I look at Chekhov. To scouting and making use of bonus resources, looking at Strobe and then myself for the last one as reference. I was a mechanic before being a lancer. So if there's anything broken, let me know. I'm sure we can find a fix. But we'll get you right, and hopefully break your dependency on stems as a group. Not very good.
Yeah, it's not been great.
Adura, I've got you on the final line.
She looks into her sorry. Yeah, we're about to make way in.
We're standing down defenses.
She'll say, that's our cue to go in. Up close, Evergreen is a city brutalized by growth. Tall apartment blocks stand a dozen stories high, grime-streaked white monoliths wrapped in cling-tight plastic, looming above the low, mixed-material buildings. The colony is bordered by a low wall, buildings bulging right up against the barrier, as if it were a waistline cinched tight by an unforgiving belt. Smoke drifts up from the dense settlement, blending the low rain clouds. The final approach that you're making is through a clear and ugly cut across a road made from metal plates sunken into brick-red mud. Massive drones chew away at the forest as work crews gather and process fallen lumber, organizing fallen trees into tall, stripped piles, and the smell of sap, friction-singed wood is strong. Smoke drifts into the cool air from piles of controlled burns as Evergreen grows. She'll lead your way into the settlement, waving away the defense drones which buzz towards you as you cross the cut. We'll get your particulars entered into our database, of course, motioning toward the departing drones. That way you can come and go without having to worry about our defenses. Or the mines, once we get them planted. The troopers lead you into the muddy, churned streets, tromping across soggy ground. There's little traffic to impede your progress. What people there are scurry from overhang to overhang, crouched over their bundles of goods to keep them dry. The grimy, prefab buildings crowd the colony's mud-spattered blocks, gutters bursting with water, power lines crisscrossing in thick bundles above and across the street, some like black vines. Rain barrels have long since overflowed, spilling into the streets. You're approaching an intersection where a trooper waits, pressed to the wall of a 2-story apartment building. The first floor looks to be shops. The wares on offer include local breads and other foodstuffs, judging by the signs painted onto the closed metal grates. And below a flat or two, their windows are also shuttered. Careful, she says as she points down that road. The sniper likes this street. Go fast when you cross.
Understood.
Call high or low.
Who?
Low.
Low then.
Low.
Definitely low.
The silence is almost suffocating as they help you quickly cross the street. All of them just waiting for the sound and crack of a shot, an explosion of dirt. But none comes. The rain continues to fall. Up ahead is a small compound, a district whose concrete walls line up to the sky, about some 20 feet tall, with tall gates standing at entry, cameras and the like guarding and warding these. A few scattered subalterns patrolling, their dull metal bodies beating with rainfall, bearing the planted flag logo of Landmark Colonial, painted in the livery of pale orange and blue. She gestures inwards towards the building near the center, with a tall tower spiraling off of it. You should be good from here, but I need to get back on patrol. You should be waited there. Patients and their assistant should be waiting for you there. She says, pointing to the tall building with a large glass or plastic cutout on one of the top floors. I'm sure that we'll be meeting again pretty shortly, though.
Hopefully.
Alright
Be safe out there.
then. Yep. Keep your head low.
Thanks. Welcome to Evergreen. And indeed,
I'll just
welcome to Evergreen.
Chekhov would look over at Casina and the rest and go like, "It's a bit weird that they haven't handled the sniper though."
In their own walls.
well, if I had to guess, the sniper's from outside the walls and can see in from the edges that Strobe was watching earlier.
And point towards the cliffside that I spotted earlier. It's like that's where they'd most likely be able to keep pressure up from.
And if you noticed, one of the things they said while we were talking, they don't really have a military here. It's just random people they kind of picked up off the ground and put together as a ragtag band.
I do see that, but I am mostly talking about the fact that they could just wire a bunch of demolition charges together and blow the hill up.
I don't think they have the resources for that. They're not military.
They don't even have mines set for their defensive base. Do you think they really have the explosive to go blowing up things?
Yeah, the best they could probably do is send someone or a party out there, and they'd probably be spotted before getting up there, and the sniper would leave, if not fire upon them.
Where'd these
Well,
bandits coming from anyway? You said they're a pretty tight-knit community.
That's a good question. One that we're going to need to find out, I think. Let's see if they have an actual debriefing for us. And maybe a printer so we can, stop being so vulnerable ourselves.
that'd be good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if anything,
Naked.
Chekhov. If anything, Chekhov, you could blow up that hill later. You could solve
Chekhov gives you this biggest grin.
Yep. Alright, let's hit him.
With that, I think we enter the building.
Sure. Y'all head in, and are greeted by a somewhat hastily put together building. The interior is lit by a couple of fluorescent bulbs, which are not quite securely attached to the ceiling. A wooden desk, which is piled with all sorts of stuff on it. Paper, mechanical parts, electronics, and two metal doors, which are ajar, unpowered, leading up to long staircases. A elevator as well, with a unhelpful out of order sign glued to its surface. Amidst this is a middle-aged woman who stands out as a strange sore thumb, given how immaculately put together their dress and makeup is. She will spin at your introduction to this space, her low-frame glasses glinting some as she smooths over her black hair and brings her hands in front of her, standing attention as she says, "Adina Chi, attaché to patience. I trust you are the pilots."
That we are. That we are.
Aye.
"I regret to inform you,
pilots.
that they are currently cycling. However, I was instructed to give you the lay of the land and provide you your quartering as well as direct you to the local printer, as I was told that you would need access to it immediately on arrival.
That is also true.
That would be a preferable outcome, yes.
Yeah. Are we the only pilots that were called in?
Yes, she says. There is no more behind you? I would hope that there would be more.
Understood.
I don't suppose we'll need more for bandits.
I mean, hopefully not.
Yes. Well, we really haven't had such military force before. I'm not quite a combat-minded person myself, but if you believe that you can help us, we can certainly use the help.
Point us to the print shop, point us to the problem, and we'll deal with it.
Yeah, of course. She recovers her internal calm some as she steps out from the desk, and juts a almost knife-like hand out the door. Please follow. She'll give you the quick lowdown. The Omni-Node Tower is available here. This is the single point of contact which links Evergreen to the galaxy at large via the OmniNet. There are radio broadcasts which are possible, but due to the vast distances involved, it would take a minimum of a few hundred years for radio waves to reach anything. This is one of the most recent installations on the planet's surface. Doing so is what prompted Union's interest, she remarks. It is a high-value object, and no one wants to see its destruction. Least of all Union. There is a local bar, which she will try to avoid sending you to, but nonetheless mention, called the Bottom of the Well. She is sure to mention that it has a well-earned reputation, which fits its name. There are residential districts which spiral past the Founders District, past Silverstone, Ember, and Seafoam. Most of that is residential, minus in Bradley, the reactor plant, Towers 1 and 2, which were salvaged from the colony ship, which brought the first generation of colonists here. Theoretically, they could power Evergreen for a millennia. The OmniNet tower, the OmniNode tower is connected to 3 communications towers, which repeat signals and allow inputs from further abroad. She says that patients will get you up to date on all that. The casket for patients, meanwhile, is located underneath, in an underground complex below the building that you just arrived at. The freight elevator provides access to it as well as cold storage, with thousands of SSC patented embryos drawn from the Landmark Library. The armory is not far from the print shop, and you guys are now authorized, thanks to her, to go to both. The militia keeps their anti-personnel and anti-armor weaponry at that militia building. They have their own dedicated printer and reserve print stock housed inside, letting them, if they needed to, churn out simple GMS pattern small arms in the form of rifles, carbines, light machine guns, pistols, shotguns, etc. It can function with or without an OmniNet connection, as can most single-task non-printers, which is a far thing aside from the pride of Evergreen, the print shop. It's publicly accessible during regular working hours, and is inside a 3-story, fully enclosed building protected by armed guards at all times. There's a command tower which sits adjacent to it, and catwalks ring inside the structure at intervals. The gases and waste products are vented high above the printer, where most are captured and recycled before they can pollute the atmosphere. She'll remark that until they got the OmniNode up, the printer only had access to the onboard library of industrial and civilian equipment. However, with the connection now up and Union having authorized them, they now have access to the ability to produce machinery and vehicles of standard patterns up to size 2, so long as the correct licensing requirements are met. There are a number of smaller deck prints inside, which can be used to simultaneously produce mechs and other objects up to size 3, but you would have to manually assemble parts of that together.
Good thing no one's a Barbarossa.
Given today is your arrival, although this is a public accessible space, the entirety of the day has been blocked out for whatever printing you may need. Basically have the building to yourself.
Oh, thank God.
Your quarters are not far from the casket of patients. A little bit further away to the southwest, behind the singular wall of the Founder District, where they say, if you have anything that you need that hasn't been provided, please do let me know. I wish to make sure that as best I can, your stay here is comfortable, that you may keep your attentions upon, well, our troubles, rather than a lack of comforts.
I'm gonna kind of give a chuckle at the lack of comforts.
We've
that,
seen
sure.
far worse.
Don't worry,
Oh.
bed is more than enough for most of us. I assure you. Not
I
getting
see.
shot at while trying to sleep is much more comfortable than anything else.
The room
Not
surface sounds nice.
That is
Not
true.
stuck in a box as well.
She nods along. As she leads you to your quarters. She says, I'm told that patients will have something for you in the morning when they finish their cycle. But until then, feel free to make yourselves at home here in Evergreen. You have, of course, the full authority to access any part of Evergreen, as you would wish.
Thank you, thank you.
With a
Hope
bow,
and understand.
she'll make herself scarce. Almost a little bit rushed as she watches somewhat worriedly to that ridge that you picked up earlier.
Yeah. I was going to immediately go to the armory. Like, I'm going to go see if they have a sniper rifle of long range.
I'm going to go get rent orders started for all of us then.
Certainly. Y'all are left to your own devices.
Is there kind of a local network? I know that they've only recently connected to the OmniNet, but is there like a colony-wide network?
There is, though it hasn't really been put to much use just yet. You could think of it as like the internet with like 4 websites, minus the bridge that then goes to the greater actual internet.
And how long ago did she say that the tower got put up?
The power or the OmniNode?
The tower. Sorry.
Yeah.
The OmniNode tower. 5 years ago?
About 5 years ago.
Okay.
Uh, while y'all are out and about,
I assume we're in downtime actions now.
yes, you got a day's worth of downtime.
Some, and then I assume just hey, print shop, we need these things. Doesn't use one of our downtime actions, or does it for this situation?
Nah, it was already queued up and ready to go for you guys. It won't take an action.
Perfect. I would like to get organized.
It begins.
It does begin.
That was fast.
The
Yep.
moment that you've arrived. Very well.
Focus
How
for-
would you like to get organized?
Focus will be military this time, and we will do efficiency as our initial. So it will be an organization with +2 in efficiency currently. And
Okay.
then, let's see. There is no roll for the first time. For the first one, it looks like.
Nope. You just get it.
Yep. So, yep. And as a good descriptor of what I'm doing, I'm actually getting the militia organized.
Okay.
And taking over their not only their military training, but their organization, and getting them to be less of a ragtag force.
You probably come across them while they're training, drilling an empty yard space with uniforms which don't seem to fit them very well.
Well, hello there, all of you.
Bravo will look up and, hello again.
I said I was going to start your training, and that's what's going to happen. I have a day off today while we wait for everything to get printed, and for patients to give us some of our official tasking. So why don't we start by getting y'all a little bit more organized,
Of course.
and maybe getting your uniforms properly fitted. That's like 90% of the work.
She spins around and introduces you, while making sure everyone is listening, as the heroes of Cressidium. Those of you who tagged along with Casina, if not just Casina. And that she expects everyone gathered there to pay close attention to anything you have to say.
Yeah, I would spend the next, I'd basically spend the rest of the day going through basic military drills with them, helping them, basically learn a little bit more discipline since they're like a basic ragtag militia, and I doubt they have much discipline, and developing an actual command structure more than just uh, one person being in charge and everybody else just kind of listening to what they're doing, by breaking them up into squads with squad leaders, and then into a platoon, and if they have enough people for a brigade, a full brigade being like 2 or 3 platoons. I'd organize them in squads of like 5 or 6 people. Easy to take care of each other with that way. And then I would work with them on getting them to the armory to refit them and getting everybody in more specialized gear for their roles in the squad. And that's what I'd spend the whole day doing.
What else are you all doing with your downtime?
I would probably be leaving the armory at this point after learning that they don't have any weaponry of that long range for infantry. And instead, I would like to get a understanding of the local geography, if that's possible, which I believe is getting information.
Yeah, absolutely.
What role would that be?
Convince me of a trigger. Elsewise, it'll just be a flat d20. You are likely to earn information even if you fail, though.
If I myself scouted by leaving town, but I'm not sure how the travel distance works.
I wouldn't go too far out. But yeah, you can scout the immediate surroundings without getting into too much trouble.
Okay.
Call higher low. In addition to your roll.
High. because I would roll spot then if I can.
Okay. Proceed.
And I call high.
Ooh. All right. Well, firstly, you start mapping out the surrounds of Evergreen. Suffice to say, it's largely plains, but for the southern rising hills and cliff faces. Northward, you also get some elevation changes until there's a tall mountain. And you can see the river kind of spilling out to the east-southeast. Not far outside the walls, though, there is a sudden crack and an explosion as 3 of the trees that you were next to just detonate. A crater left behind as a high-yield munition splashes into the terrain, nearly sending you flying, but instead covering you in mud and grass and fragments of tree.
Okay. Was there a gauge of distance that I could get, or was that just an artillery strike?
That's part of your spot. Is you force the fear out and you focus, trying to
I could roll
measure.
Stay cool.
Okay, yeah, sure. Might get you some extra information.
Is that, or I got stims?
Yeah, immediately.
Immediately stim.
Well, it sounds like they have plenty of stems here too. So
Yeah, you're already making inroads with the locals.
yeah, we could start the drug ring.
Cressidium was hell, I'll tell you that much.
We are not going to start a drug ring on a planet we just arrived at.
I'm not gonna share my
Wrong with
supply. I'm not gonna share my
Little
supply. It's for me.
fun.
Welcome to Union, boys. Drugs half off.
But it's 17 to stay cool.
Yes. The shot came from the southeast. There is a shroud of trees on a lightly elevated rocky outgrowth. And you can catch for a moment something large moving back into the foliage.
Damn, it's a mech. I'm not gonna fight a mech on my own. I'll retreat back into town.
They're well camouflaged, too. You didn't really catch any glimmering of metal. It's just the size and your positioning and ability to stay calm that let you see it.
Okay. Is it like, tell me if I'm not able to get this. Is it a artificial coating, like cloaking, or is it like physical, like paint, tree coverage? You know, a ghillie suit for a mech?
It'd be hard to tell without a dedicated sensor suite, but at least at glance, it looks to be natural.
Okay. Yeah. Realizing that it is a much bigger target than I can handle on my own, realistically, and there is no backup coming, I will retreat for now.
The hills are to the south, largely. Dessa.
Okay.
Though they also span from the southwest to the southeast. It'll make more sense when I show you the whole map. I've got multiple maps. Okay. What else is everybody else doing?
Hi there, my name.
So I'm a bit wary of the people here and the situation with the bandits because it's a little unclear. So, even before we get our official briefing tomorrow, I would like to get some of my own information first. So I'm going to, I don't know if get connected or gather information makes more sense.
Sound right?
So I'm going to get connected, specifically, John wants to seek out like-minded, perhaps Horus fanatics or uh, OmniNet degenerates, perhaps by probing the local network or by tapping directly into the OmniNet in general, since there's a tower here now. So essentially finding a terminal to access the more local digital space and trying to find people in the area, or if there's perhaps even a group in the colony, like a cult of Ra or something.
You know, the old local cult of Raw.
Yeah, I feel like those
They might be
are
here. You never
fairly
know.
might worth a look.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Either appropriate. Feel free to roll.
right, and so for this, would I roll the overall roll for get connected first, or do a skill roll first, or both?
I would give your trigger a workout, just because it's more likely to succeed.
That is true.
All right.
Very good.
You are given a look around. All, if you would wish to, increase the chance that you will get less information in exchange for letting you roll one more time. If you want to really dig into this.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Okay. So, accessing local infrastructure. It's not difficult for some parts of it. Some parts of the local internet require particularized access details, particularly if you want to access anything involving the local power network. That requires specific clearance, which you personally have, of course, but which would log your interest if you were to access it. You can find that most of the network is housed in a centralized data storage center, a server farm, which takes its name from the hardened racks of hard storage for digital municipal infrastructure, data storage, and other public goods. Despite its squat above-ground presence, the bulk of it is underground. You do not have immediate clearance to access the structure, but you could request it from either landmark or patients. Unless you wish to hack in with some danger, which I will attach to that roll.
I think I'm going to wait until we meet patients, since maybe they're very nice. I think I might just ask patients.
Very well. You find out another bit of interesting information while you're gathering locale stuff about the local electronics. Patients, when they're online, are essentially omnipresent here. The ones on the grid, colonists' homes that is, are all patched into patients via resident CompCon units. Personal assistants, which keep their calendars and schedules, reminders, contacts, and so on. And most of the colonists have been fabricated personal hand units as well. They call them slates. They're palm-sized, portable, and OmniNet connected devices which can be used as computers, cameras, game systems, and communicators. You can tell the patients is listening, collecting, and collating all that data. And the relationship is one way. The CompComs can feed information back to patients, but colonists are locked out from high-level data from the NHP without clearance granted by their job portfolios.
Am I able to make heads or tails of how many people have that kind of clearance?
It would be a select group. You would guess no more than 64 from the amount of memory reserved for that.
Okay.
My turn?
Mhm.
So, although Chekhov is wondering if he could, blow something up even better, I think, honestly, because he's not sure about this area or not, he's going to try and create some improvised explosives from some armory stockpiles. So he's going to use the get focused downtime activity
Sure.
and use it on invent or create.
I feel that is certainly possible with what they've got locked away down there.
Yeah, because he's going to try to see if he could build some demo charges to flatten out the surrounding area at a further distance so they don't get sniped down their own roadway.
I understand what you're attempting to do with the explosives, but I'm not grasping how it would work to prevent them from doing so.
Uh, well, he knows that essentially he's going off of what he was told. The sniper is able to shoot down the main area, the main roadway, and as far as he knows, it's probably from that hilltop. So he's going to try to use the downtime to invent or create some type of demolition charge that he could set off at the base and just
I see.
collapse it down.
Okay.
Not
Yeah.
onto the wall and not into the river, hopefully, but sort of make it so, like, maybe at night or earlier in the morning, just before we go out, he can set the charges and just detonate it, and the hillside would collapse so they can't actually shoot from that hillside anymore.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's valid. Feel free.
Awesome.
Of the things they have there, explosives are not in short supply, although they are physically locked. You have to go get somebody who has a key, but they'll open it for you. Most of it is not used, just racks and racks and racks of grenades and Simex charges and the like, which are all just set up and ready to go, but which nobody has used.
Do you want me to increase the invent or create before rolling or after rolling?
Oh, make the inventor create as part of the roll. Okay. You can start on the get focused. That will increase your trigger for inventor create up to from +2 to +4. So you take a while to look through their stocks, get familiarized with the sort of terrain out there by talking to people, and start putting a plan together. So on your next downtime, and from this point forward, in fact, you'll have a +4 on inventor create.
Now I can make better explosives to blow things up better.
At the end of the day, your mechs are printed. Went off without a hitch. They're fully licensed. The arms and armament are in good working order, albeit a small crowd has gathered to see the printing, even though it took most of the day to do. Nobody has seen weapons of this scale and type before. At least not in this colony.
I'm gonna go walk up to my mech and pat it on its foot.
Do
Yeah,
printers... Go
Go
on.
on. No, go on.
Do printers print things with paint on them? Like,
Yeah, they can.
that was just a general setting question I was curious about.
Generally speaking, the more complex, the more difficult it is to locate a printer that can do it. But this printer is a pretty high grade printer. It is next to the Omni-Node Tower, the most valuable object in this settlement.
Yeah. Another good way of looking at it, some mechs have lower repair caps, and that's because they have more specialized parts.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That makes sense. That's the appeal of GMS and IPSN.
Indeed.
The GMS is basically made out of Legos.
Yeah. The Everest replaceable parts, you can repair structure for 1. It's insane.
Yeah, we like that. We love that.
They just don't have
Infinite
armor.
lives.
If they had armor, I'd be running an Everest.
That is the downside. Yeah, you have to reserve if you want to actually up armor that thing.
Yeah, it's best to just put up armor on a mech that already has 1 armor, if not more. But yeah. I would probably hop into my mech and confirm that everything has been moved over properly. Any of the new systems that I've installed are properly in place and they work. And whether or not I would say the cockpit of mine is modified so that my new leg kind of integrates into the machine more, like it clamps around it. If that makes sense. It's more neural bridged, since I now have just a prosthetic that I can have more complex stuff onto. So yeah, see if everything connects properly, since it's been a while and been stuck in a transport box for a while.
Yeah, it feels
So-
great to be able to move for once. Granted, it wasn't all aboard the shuttle. The shuttle was just the last couple days. But you've been just on ship after ship after ship.
Yeah, but now we're in my ship. I'm in mine at least.
Yeah, I think it would feel very nice to get back into a mech cockpit and get real cozy and plug myself in, plug my 2 NHPs in, get familiar.
I'd probably say it over comms like all systems of my end are working properly. I'd be ready to head out whenever, unless we want to take the night.
I'm ready to commit violence.
I don't know if I know they said to wait, but I did take a scout outside of town, encountered some hostiles roughly south near the hills. A mech using physical camouflage, from what I could see. Launched some artillery, probably a howitzer. I retreated since I don't have any. I wasn't rolling with any anti-mech weaponry.
I don't think the militia is either.
Brava has
No,
a pretty nice gun. In fact, if you'd like to see it, I can show it to you.
Sure.
Yes, please.
But yeah, I saw no long-distance rifles that I could use to outsnipe a sniper at low range or at a down range.
Oh, that's her. That's her other appearance. 1 second.
You hear over the mic as you're confirming that your mechs are working, and maybe it sounds like you guys are ready to go out. You'll hear Chekhov say, I. Well, unfortunately, I'm a little bit busy right now. Maybe in a bit. I'm trying to figure out a couple explosives that could be used to take out that hill that was a problem.
Oh, so you are going to do it.
Yes, I
Okay.
love explosives.
Just
I
Except-
mean,
know that
look at my mech.
if we deal with the sniper problem, we won't need to blow the hill up.
Won't stop another sniper.
Can I blow up the hill anyways? I mean, it'd be fantastic.
I'm not entirely sure if that hill is. If anything.
Trees on it. The locals might need it.
Yeah,
Uh,
it could have, something important.
yeah.
Do we know if that bridge out of the city is sturdy enough for these?
For the mix. You can. It's gonna be shaky. There
What's
you go.
the distance of that river?
Oh, that didn't work.
Was it a river? I thought that was a wall.
It's a big gun for a person.
Oh, good lord, yeah.
Yeah, that's why she needs the exo arm to support it.
Okay then. Wait,
I
is
thought-
that like what a heavy weapon is?
Yeah.
I imagine.
That's a heavy signature weapon.
Okay. What the hell is the antimatter shot sniper rifle then that takes up both slots?
Bigger.
Good lord. Because I'm gonna probably pick one up to fight a mech on my own if I have to next time.
Probably need to like spend an hour setting it up and it can't move.
But yeah, that bridge
Mhm.
on the zoom in, I interpreted the dots with lines.
That left one is the same as this one. It's a temporary bridge. The main one looks like it'd be able to support like scale 3 mechs, no problem. But the side one is kind of a footpath more. It'll support weight, light vehicles. But once you start getting into the several tons, that thing is going to be on shaky grounds.
All right. And to be clear, that's not a wall. That's a river.
Yes.
Oh, we can just walk through the water. Okay.
It's not deep enough that it would prevent your mechs from moving through it. It'd just be difficult terrain.
Yeah, I mean, I'm size 2, so one of you could like stand on me if you needed to, probably.
What's the length of the river?
That'd be quite a sight.
I in fact still have an EVA, so I can still EVA through the water.
It's
Nice.
about 110 odd feet across. It's pretty big.
Okay. Yeah. Can't 7 movement over that. Okay.
Then if there's nothing further this day.
Yeah, with Chekhov talk about explosions and having more time to prep for them, I will rescind my my eagerness to head out now, I guess, to fix a problem.
I agree that it would probably be better to wait until after we're briefed.
Yeah. This patience fellow you talked about?
Yeah.
Alright.
Okay.
Is there enough, like, how wide are the streets? Like, can I bring my mech to the living quarters?
If you want it to block the whole road.
You're a Tortuga size 2.
Yeah.
Blackbeard is like 20 feet, right? Roughly 20 feet tall. Tortuga's like 40 to 30 something feet taller,
I think,
or at tall.
yeah, I think Tortuga's just really wide. Is
Yeah.
the problem. So yeah, I guess I'll leave my mech in the garage or whatever, and hope no one touches it.
Just having an HP in it. Control.
That's true. Y'all
I-
do have mesh net control. You can talk to your NHPs. They're active as long as your mech's on standby at least, and not just completely depowered.
That's true. I do have 2 of them, but they're my kids. They need to stay with me.
Any further things that need to be taken care of this first day in Evergreen?
Nothing here, unless I can actually switch out my main weaponry for some anti-mech weaponry, like an anti-matter rifle.
If you have the licensing for it, this printer can print it.
It's in pilot weapons, the anti-armor signature weapon.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a license to it.
If it's under GMS, you can grab it.
GMS.
I think that's under GMS.
It has the exotic trait, if that's a problem.
Fair.
Exotic trait. Where is that?
Is-
Oh, it's at the very bottom. Got it.
Besides that, most player weapons are just size categories, and you figure out the rest.
Yeah, in that case, I'll just take a heavy signature weapon. Replace my energy shotgun.
Fair.
I still have a smart scope in my inventory. You'd probably, I don't know if you would get a bonus for attaching that to a normal sniper rifle, because it's like a 2-mile.
You could definitely do it, but it is mech scale, so it's like you
Oh, is it-
basically
is it
put a
mech scale?
bazooka. You put a bazooka
Oh, my
onto your
bad.
rifle through the gauge of it.
I mean, that's kind of funny. I thought it was a little binocular.
I will say, the hill that we're aiming at for snipers, or if anything for like that, the hill was 7 miles away. So
Valid.
there was a distance issue, not getting the weaponry.
Too bad
Yeah.
none of us did go with the Death's Head.
For the Madrigal weapons, I don't know what they're from.
What is that?
They're a type of pilot item in the compendium.
But they're exotic.
Yeah.
A lot of the weird things in there are from Dustgrave.
That makes sense.
Is it
Because
such
it
a-
is...
It's a very unique setting.
Yeah, and it does list it as like it's the armor. I don't know about the armor. I know that we have access to carapace armor, irregardless, and that specifically says it's multi-layered. But I'm not sure if it was the same as the Madrigal carapace armor.
I think the carapace armor is. I don't think we have access to that, because I think that's from this story.
Yes, that's correct.
And I believe we were told that we don't technically have access to this stuff from this expansion until we find it or see it.
That is correct. It's probably out there somewhere in the world. Not that your pilots know.
Yeah,
But
that makes a lot more sense.
But yeah, with that, I'd be going to bed.
yeah, I'm actually going to take my little bedroll and my duffel of stuff and bring it and take it to the mech and sleep in the mech.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Cassina, you also grabbing some sleep?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not gonna go out there by myself.
I mean, you
Yeah.
could.
I could, but I'm not.
I would have told Casino that I got bombarded. Like 3 trees were taken out, put next to me.
I
We can find out. We can find out what it's like for you to potentially resurrect.